Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod with Angie Martin today. She is founder at The Growth Manager. She is also owner and head designer at Pear Collections. We're going to talk about life and how stuff can happen to you and how you can surmount these challenges and raise up to the occasion, as they say, because Angie got a pretty bad accident some time ago. She had a neck injury that is quite debilitating and leads with pain on a daily basis, so much so that she told me last week that she only worked 3 hours a week. So I'm curious as per how she does that. Lots of self-care, lots of productivity hacks, and I guess focus and mindfulness as well that we're going to speak about today. This podcast is brought to you by podfire.com. If you want to start your podcast, if you want to scale, if you want to monetize the podcasting, you can go to podfire.com. That is my podcasting agency, and I can help you do just that. Angie, welcome to the pod. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself, the growth manager, and the Pear Collections business that you have?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. It's something that I'm really passionate about these days. My name is Angie, for everyone watching and listening. I am just like you guys. I am a business owner and entrepreneur, and I understand the daily challenges and joys of running businesses. And like Charles said, I have a passion project fashion brand that's called Pear Collections. For those of you viewing, you can see some of the range in the background. And I also have a mentoring consultancy business, again, that Charles said, that's the growth manager, where I really go in and help other business owners really master the digital marketing and overall business growth in the online space. And I really love being in the forefront of all the new technologies coming out that can benefit business owners to help you streamline, find innovative solutions to creating strategies that will help you grow your business, but will also help you just achieve your overall professional and personal goals for why you created the business in the first place.
So tell me about what happened to you on a wellness retreat some time ago and the impact that it had on your current life.
Yeah, so I'm a mentor, and as a mentor, I like to be one that practices what she preaches. And throughout my 20s, I was in constant burnout because I worked so hard, so much. And so now when I talk with clients, I always really try and make sure that you're filling your cup first so that you can actually do the rest for your community and your business. And last year, I was gearing up for a very, very big financial year. I had already done what I did the previous financial year in the first quarter. So I wanted to take time out to let myself relax, gain those tools to really make the most of the year. And I did the first week was the wellness bit, and the second bit was an upskilling. And I was in the midst of upskilling and decided to take a break from upskilling, a very big day. And I had a bath, and it's all still a little bit fuzzy. But ultimately I hit my head in the bath, and the repercussions of the accident has caused cognitive function issues. And also I have permanently damaged my vertebrae 2 to vertebrae 7, which causes consistent and constant pain, and also nerve shocks basically throughout my whole body, mainly on the right side, which can be anyone who lives with chronic pain. It can be very debilitating and very difficult to use your brain or do anything really. So it's been quite an interesting year. It's been officially a year and a couple months now since the accident. And like you said, Charles, I typically, if I'm lucky, will do about 3 hours a week. I'm trying to expand it now to 5 hours a week, but we'll see how it goes. But thankfully, due to the systems, strategies, workflows, and optimizations, both of my businesses have still been running.
Right. And tell people about that pain, because the way you described it to me the other day, it was like 9 or 9.5 on 10 pain. I mean, I do Ironmans and all of that, and the pain is the strongest I probably have felt. And I have a very high pain tolerance, probably 8.5 on 10. 9.5 is you dislocated your shoulder. You were like crunching so much. So tell us about that. Tell us the effect that it had on your work life, and tell us also about the mental aspect of it and the your nervous system. The other day, you told me you had some kind of panic attack of receiving a friend at home. So tell us about all of these aspects so that folks can understand.
Yeah, the injury has been one that has very different layers. The first thing that is always the most prevalent is the pain. I'm pretty much consistently I have a very high pain tolerance. I grew up having random injuries, and I break my toes all the time. It's a thing. But my normal pain tolerance is at a 7.5. I'm at an 8 today. My 9.5 was a dislocation of my own arm, my shoulder. I was reaching in pain in the fetal position so much. One night, it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd been in horrible agony for about 5 hours before it. And I actually didn't realize I dislocated and popped my own shoulder out until a couple days later, because I was in so much pain. So everyone's pain is different, but that popping my own shoulder out and dislocating it is my 9.5. So that's the part of the injury that is the most prevalent. And today I'm actually doing a masterclass on coping with chronic pain, because it can be very mentally draining and physically draining. And then for the other half of it, I have a central nervous system syndrome now, from where the damage is in my brain, where I'm basically always in constant state of fight or flight. So I'm very easily scared. I'm very easily stressed. I'm very easily everything. I'm not even allowed to watch horror movies at the moment, and I'm a huge horror movie buff because my body is in this constant state of pretty much panic. So I live a very, very stress-free life, a very slow-paced life, which has been a massive adjustment since I've been a workaholic since I was 12. I created my first business when I was 12, and it was a very big loss in grieving last year of saying goodbye to that person that I was, and then welcoming the new version of me with open arms and learning to love that and embrace that as well. So it's been a very interesting journey.
Yeah, the pain, yeah, let's talk about like tips for pain management, but the aspect of fight or flight. For example, here I go run with my dogs and in the mountains, and then there's other dogs, right? And then sometimes they try to attack one another, and then that is like the fight signal. Me, I never fight, it's always fight. And I can imagine having that. It's the heart palpitations, it's like this the sweat and the I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to go. It's not a super nice state as well. And I can imagine having that for simple stuff like hearing some noise outside and like social interactions and so forth. So that is a lot of challenges. Yeah, it's fair to say that this is a lot of challenges. So let's start with the pain aspect, then we can get with the fight or flight. But how do you deal with the pain? What are tips that you have for us?
Oh gosh, I do a little bit of everything and anything. If anyone suggests something, I'll try it. I last year was really making sure that the damage became stable. So now that I'm officially stable, I, was going to an osteo, I was doing acupuncture, I was doing physio, everything like that to really just protect it and learn and make sure that it was stable. Now that it's stable, I do magnesium floats, I do saunas, I'm doing a body scrub today, which really doesn't help the pain, it helps the fight or flight symptom to help me calm down. I meditate every single morning to help me focus on what I'm grateful for, because you can go in a really dark place when it comes to chronic pain. So I do gratitude and real self-love focused meditations every morning. I do yoga and stretches every morning as well, no matter if I'm in extreme pain or not. It's something that helps keep my body moving and limber to allow it to be able to move and not be so stiff. I do daily walks. I go for swims. I also learn what my capacity is. Learning what that capacity is probably the biggest thing that is beneficial for me. I basically know if I try and do 2 hours of work in one day, I'm pretty much going to feel it. If I try and be social for more than 4 hours in one day, I will feel it. I can't drink anything or eat anything that is an inflammatory. So I can't drink alcohol. If I drink alcohol, I will usually feel it for about a week to 2 weeks. So if I do drink alcohol, it's got to be a very good reason. I can't do coffee. I can't do cola, anything like that. So really learning what the triggers are and what will actually happen so I can be aware of it and I don't get surprised as well. So I can mentally prepare for the pain. And then also just really learning to be kind to myself. I think we're always our worst enemy. And if it was a friend who was going through what I was going through, I would have been much kinder to myself last year and much more forgiving. And so I really just trying to stay in the mindfulness and being really, really aware of how it's impacting me. And just because it's a bad moment doesn't mean it's a bad day. So that's a very big thing with me.
The demons part, the mindset, how do you deal with that anxiety and that bodily reaction? How do you deal with all of that mindset wise?
Sometimes I do really well, and then other times I don't do really well. I'm not going to lie, I'm a consistent work in progress, but I actively really try and focus on reminding myself it's okay that I feel this way and that I feel this way because of an injury. I'm not being lazy. I'm not overreacting. It is what it is. And it's one of those things, just reminding yourself that it will stop. Chronic pain, I sometimes, the worst of it is when you hit your funny bone and you get that instant feeling of, oh my gosh, kind of reaching in. The nerve, now that I'm not on nerve dampeners, I was last year, but we've gone off it this year. Now that I'm not on it, I get that sensation you get when you bump your elbow throughout my entire right side of my body, all the way down to my toes, and then all the way down to my fingertips as well. So when that happens, it's really focused around trying to stay positive, and again, reminding myself that this pain won't last, and to just I have a list of things that if I do every single thing on the list in that day, it will be a good day. So it's just working through what makes me happy, what helps me come out of when I am being triggered by negative thoughts, and actively doing those things to make sure I'm protecting my mental health and ultimately my body, which has been very difficult.
Must have been. How do you convert that self-care into business productivity and dollars? Because you also need to pay for all of that, right? So, like, how do you pack up that energy to work 3, 4 hours a week?
Yeah, so it's been a very interesting journey. Thankfully, I have an online clothing business that kind of just runs by itself. And I already was in the midst of creating the Growth Manager to be an online platform that I can eventually hand over to someone else to be the figurehead. And we also sell growth guides that are business templates. So my capacity for one-on-one mentoring has gone down. My price has gone up. And so if I am going to be meeting with you, you'll get a lot more value, but it takes a lot more out of me. So I have adjusted that. And so more and more people go with my growth guides that have online trainings anyways, with me taking them through the templates, which allows that to be just an easy way of having the income coming through and allowing me to continually spend so much money on my health and care, while still positively impacting people without negatively impacting my brain or my body. So I already was putting things in place, and it's just been ramped up more to ensure that I can still support people as much as the whole reason I created the business was to support others.
So, for example, the mentoring and the coaching, how much do you charge for what kind of advice or services, packages that you offer?
Yeah, so I have multiple different packages. I have packages for marketing message creation, message creation. It's one of the things that I find a lot of existing businesses are struggling taking that next step, is because their marketing message isn't really forefront and they haven't communicated it very well. So I have that package. I have a digital marketing package where I don't do the digital marketing. I help create the strategy. I help teach the business owners the ins and outs and why something might be really important for their business and how it can actually be implemented, and the overall knowledge of it. And then I usually hand it over to one of my web and marketing partners to actually implement it so that they have the best online presence possible. And then another package that I offer is sales mastery. So sales is very hard, but you can automate a lot of sales to take the scariness out of it. So I really help to refine what your offering is, really explaining how it makes your consumers feel, what it does for them, and then following up with sales calls, creating email templates, creating automations so you can close deals faster and with the correct clients. And then I have one more package where it's an overall business development package, where typically that's when it gets to the point where we catch up every month, review what is currently going on, see what struggles are actually opportunities within the market, and also really help and refine the actual team creation and management as well, because a business is only as strong as its team. And then I also offer one session opportunities as well, which one session I might do it once a month, I might do it once a quarter, once a year, and those sessions are $600 for a 1 hour session with me. And it's taken a long time to get the money mindset to say, yes, I am worth the $600 for a 1 hour with me. But it's really good sessions, and they're really great, especially for this time of year when New Year opportunities are coming around, and it can just make a massive difference.
What does a day-to-day in the life of Angie looks? For example, today, how did it started? And tell us about also if you had the demon pop today, and how did you taint that dark side of yours?
Yes, that's a great question. So as of today, we were recording this on a Wednesday, and Wednesdays are actually my self-care days. And in my self-care days, I focus on all versions of self-care, including the pampering and the personal development. So I always do a combination of the both. I unfortunately have been not sleeping very well the last 3 weeks. I had a wedding 3 weeks ago, and I had a couple wines, and I enjoyed myself, and I've been paying with it for 3 weeks. So I haven't been sleeping very well. So I was woken up by my body being in pain at 5:30, which is actually an improvement because lately it's been 3:30 and that's been killing me. So I woke up at 5:30. I put on just calming meditation, relaxation music, laid in bed, just let myself just rest, because even if you're not sleeping, just letting yourself rest is really good for your body as well. Then when I eventually got up, I had my meditation. Today I did a stress relief meditation since it's my self-care Wednesday. Stress is a killer. So I did my meditation, I did my yoga stretches, and then I have a really beautiful morning routine where I tidy up the house a little bit. I make my breakfast. I don't drink coffee because I can't drink coffee because of the inflammation. I have my decaf and a hot chocolate, and I have a whole milk frother, a whole process that really starts the day really, really positively. Sitting outside in my balcony, just enjoying the weather and all of the amazing things that I actually have in abundance. And then I'm speaking with you. Following speaking with you, I'm going to be doing my body scrub. And then I'm going to be going for a walk. I'm going to be going for a swim. And then this evening, I have a masterclass that is all based around my chronic pain management. So it's the days I still have full days, but they're all focused around doing what's best for my body.
Love that. What about sun exposure and cold exposure?
Yes, so sun exposure is amazing. Any heat in general is really amazing. So saunas, I've just started to do the saunas as of last month. I got the okay to do that. And sun exposure is fantastic for my vitamin D and all the ways that vitamin D can enrich your body and your mind, honestly. I love the concept of cold therapy. However, with cold therapy, when you immediately go in, your body goes into a shock state, and it's actually really bad for the fight or flight processing in your brain. And it also makes my joints and muscles contract at the first beginning, which is not a good feeling when your whole focus is to keep your neck and back nice and limber. So I can't do the cold therapy, but I do all the warm therapy and everything.
And the physical aspect of it, I can understand. The fight or flight, I think it would make it better though, because after that, there's no such worse thing. Well, I mean, for the brain, right? It's like the amygdala.
It's
Like
getting out of
it,
it though. It's getting
yeah.
out of it. So when I get into the fight or flight, it can be very difficult to stop that with my brain.
And yeah, maybe like breathwork. I use an app. They actually somewhat sponsor me. It's called Othership. I had the founder on the podcast, Bent. I just remember his last name, Bent, and a really nice guy. And basically, they have a breathwork for cold exposure that you get in and they guide you. You get in, you get slowly, and then. But yeah,
Yeah, breathwork, I
can't.
haven't mentioned that. Breathwork is amazing, and I do that every day as well. It is, I never really realized how important obviously breathing is to your body and your brain on how it deals with things. Breathwork is incredible.
Yeah, in your case, very few mouth breathing, all nose, to control the flow. And yeah, they have
Yes.
some downers. They even have some CBD ones. So you take some CBD or you smoke a joint quite literally, and you're guided throughout. I think that would help quite a lot, and I can
I
connect you
do
with
use
the founder.
Yeah, I do use CBD oil during the week.
Scooby
When
Doo, like Scooby Doo.
CBD, CBD oil during the week, especially to help me sleep. And then I do have a session where it's a bit more than I usually do during the week every Sunday to help my body relax and kind of melt out of any stress to start the Monday off really well. And that's been helping amazingly as well.
Love that. Well, that's a really cool routine. It looks like a very nice Wednesday it is now because it's Tuesday on my time.
Yes.
I mean, you're Gold Coast, right? So are you near a beach?
I don't live near a beach now. I used to, but I have a pool right where I live and parks and water. Water is a really good calming and grounding session for me. So going and actually watching and just sitting with the river flowing is really beneficial. But I do frequent beaches as often as possible. However, because of my injury, I lose my balance very easily, and I'm not cleared to go into the water yet because the waves could overwhelm me, which
Yeah.
is very disappointing because I used to snorkel every day in the
Mm.
ocean, but hopefully that'll happen next summer in Australia.
What about microdosing psychedelics and yeah, potentially getting into stronger doses to create new neural pathways?
That is something that my doctors and I have discussed openly, because I am in the process where the lesions I have throughout my brain is reprogramming itself. So really being forefront and mindful of what is going through my mind and how I speak to myself and others is really, really important right now. So we have actually openly discussed it, and it's something that we're wanting to do in about 6 months, to again make sure I'm as stable as possible, and then hopefully helping that journey going to the next stage, because it can be used as a really fantastic tool to overcome a lot and just really help with the chronic pain. And also I think it's really great for entrepreneurs anyways, because we have so much going through our brain, and sometimes we just need a moment.
Love that. What do you have for yourself in 2024? What are your top three objectives?
Well, I've got already a couple fashion shows that Pair Collections will be in. Every year we're in Gold Coast Fashion Week, and we are going to be in a couple more this year. I'm currently doing a bit of volunteer work with a fashion organization called Mind Your Fashion, which combines fashion and mental health, which is something that's very near and dear to me. And we've got a couple of events for that. And then for the growth manager, I'm hoping to open up my bookings to be more available for my clients, and also just really sticking with not working very much and focusing on having my automated sales operations to give me another year of recovery and treasuring myself and treating myself and showing that I'm still worthy, even though I'm not at the capacity I was a year ago. So it's still going to be a very big year of healing for 2024, but with a little bit more fun and activity included.
You'll be up for the challenge. I think you're the right person to surmount that. You know, you have the systems and the plans, so I think you'll be able to make it. And let's see in a year if we can do another episode. I'm pretty sure you'll be a completely different person.
I'm sure of it. I've always been really big with personal growth anyways, so this injury has really forced me to focus it on even more. And you know, one of my biggest things is it takes less muscles and effort to smile than it does to frown. And there's an opportunity in every struggle. And I've really just been leaning into it. And I hope this has helped people who are watching or listening to think about what would happen in your business if you get hurt and you can't work. It's extremely important to consider. Find out what you can outsource, what you can delegate, what you can automate, so that if something happens, your business will still be fine. And also just remind yourself your self-worth is not tied up in what you do. What you do is amazing because of who you are, and really focusing on that can really change entrepreneurs' mindset as well, because it's definitely been a work in progress for me.
For sure. Angie, thank you so much for the value you added today. Where can people find out more about you?
So I am on Instagram for both of my businesses the most of the time. Instagram for Pair Collections is just Pair Collections, and the growth manager is the growth manager _, or you can go to my website at thegrowthmanager.com.au. We do a whole heap of free content. It's one of my favorite things to offer. And through both businesses, we do weekly business and personal affirmations to give you the best start to your day, to really make the most out of your own growth and your business's growth each week.
Always Charles Cormier as your host, and Angie Martin for another Founder Wisdom Podcast.com.